Hey guys, back again. So one of the first things I'm going to do on my new General is I'm going to put on a roof kit. And I bought the premium roof kit because I wanted to have the headliner material. So I spent a little bit extra money. Got the headline material, which I might hold off on for right now. Mainly because what I'm thinking of doing is getting some kind of insulation material, just a really light grade insulation material, putting it in here just as a little bit of kind of extra sound deadening, extra insulation, and so on. But basically, what I've done is I've laid the roof on the back of the car. You can see over here I've got the headliner material. The headliner it's actually pretty good. It's made out of just like a felt material, pretty thick. You can see it's relatively rigid. Seems like it's good quality material. The roof itself, of course, is plastic, but again, nice and solid. And one of the first things we're going to do is, I haven't peeled it off yet, but there's this channel that goes all the way around. You can see I've already got it laid in here. So we'll peel off and stick it down into the groove here. It's kind of odd that they did it this way because there's really, considering the fact that you've got this material, you don't really have a lot of grabbing surface. Of course, when this is on the vehicle, it's going to be pressed down against this, and I think the idea is mainly just to prevent airflow or at least reduce it. You're never going to get a 100% seal on it, but we'll do that. And then these hooks here snap into these holes right here. So they'll slide in. So basically what we'll do is we'll kind of get in here like this. They'll grip in on the back. The roof will sit down. And then there is this bracket, which is going to basically grab hold of the bar like this. And then we'll have a couple of bolts in there, and then there's a few other hardware pieces that we'll use. But you can see here from the install instructions what it looks like. There's the bracket, and then if you do have a dome light, I don't have their dome light. I did actually get. I haven't wired anything up yet, but I do actually have. I bought a 6-pack of these off Amazon. These are bright white lights. What I might do, I'm going to take those and create something that basically will sit in this socket, and then I may have to get just a small aluminum bracket and mount those up and put those here, and then all I'll have to do for this is then just cut a couple of small holes here, and then that way I'll have a dome light. So anyway, that's something that I'm looking at doing. Another reason why I might hold off on the actual headliner for now, and then we go through. And there's again a couple of other more permanent mounting options here with some screws in it, and then once that's done. And the headliner's up there. Again, we put the headliner material up there, put some screws in, and it looks like to me it'd be relatively easy to go through and remove and remove the headliner. So anyway, that's going to be the plan here. That's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to get this put in, and we'll get it flipped over, installed, and then bolted in, and we'll take a look once we get to that point. Okay, I just got the roof on. One comment about putting the roof on initially. So in the back, right here, you can see it, there's a little lip, and it goes down, like that middle portion probably needs to come down a little bit more. But the tricky thing in the cab here was right here. This panel, which is here from the factory, is a little bit tough to get around. So I ended up actually, I didn't damage anything, but you'll pull you'll pull back. I actually got up in the bed, pulled back, and you actually end up pulling back a little bit more than you think you would really need to pull back. But I'm feeling right here, there's still a little bit of a gap right in here. It's not, I don't think it's fully seated. I can't tell on the middle one. And then maybe the same thing on this one. So I think I've got just a little bit to go. But overall, it is actually sitting in there fairly well. Probably can't see it up in here, but there's the weather stripping that was in there. So anyway, I'm gonna give it another tug, and then we'll go back here in the back, and we'll put in the bolts. Okay, back on the roof, and I decided that I am gonna go ahead and install these little, they're called bolt lights, or bolt LEDs. They are white, and you can kind of see the top of them there. So all I did was I just poked a couple of holes there, 3/8 inch, and then opened them up. And then on the back side, what I'll have is I've got the, show them to you here, got the 2 nuts. They'll go up on here, and then I'll just wire these in. And there is on the roof, right here, I can show you. So there is a notch cut out here. So what I'll do is once I get the wires, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna run the wires, and I'm gonna come all the way down to the pillar over here on this side. And I'm for the time being, I'm just gonna let the wires hang. But what I've gotta do is put some extensions on here, get those ready to go. And then once that's done, I'll be ready to put in the liner as well. And again, I mentioned the insulation. I may still do that at some point, but it's gonna be easy enough to pull this out. There are the 2 bolts here. Then on each side, you have 2 screws on each side at the top. And then kind of in the middle, right there, there's another bolt that holds in the headliner. And then on the back, it just sits on this shelf. This right here, you can see the bolts coming through the back. Those holes on the roof are actually pre-drilled, and then they're welded nuts on the bracket. I did have to pull down from the back when I was putting these bolts in, but real easy to do, very, very simple. By the way, as with many things on side-by-sides, they are a Torx bit. It's a T40 on those, 8 foot-pounds per the instructions. So I didn't pull out the torque wrench, but I don't want to wrench down on them too tight, mainly because you don't want to damage the plastic. But going well so far. Should be done in just a few more minutes. It'll actually take me longer to get these wired in and get those arranged than it will to finish everything up. Okay, I've got the LEDs in here, and you can probably tell these are super bright. These are gonna be great, great dome lights. You can see, I don't know if you can tell in the video just how bright they are, but I mean, even out to here, still getting a good bit of light. So these are going to be great for dome light. Right now, I just got it hooked up to the battery just to test it. What I did was I went through, got them bolted in, and then I've gone through and put on some extension wires, soldered and heat shrunk. And then what I'm going to do now is, before I get it mounted, is I'm actually going to put some of this sleeving material on it. I like to have it all nice and neat, look like an OEM finish. By the way, here's what the inside of the hood area looks like right now. I'm be doing some auxiliary wiring up here and so on. By the way, this model does have the winch on it. So that's what this wiring is here. Because it has the winch, it already has a kit on it from Polaris that has some pretty heavy-duty wiring. I'm still going to be putting in a heavy-duty relay and a heavy-duty circuit breaker for all my auxiliary wiring that I'm going to be doing. And I've got a fuse block and also a grounding block as well. So all that's going to eventually be going in the vehicle, and we'll be doing videos on all that stuff as it comes up. So Stay tuned. All right. I finally have gotten the headliner in. It was actually a little bit trickier than I thought it would be. And the reason is that this portion right here sits above the rail and underneath the ribs of the roof, which that in itself is not difficult. But then inside the cab, you have to get this portion here, and this was actually the most difficult part. You can even see maybe right here that there's even a little gap here. I had a really difficult time getting this portion of it to go in because it has to go in underneath the roof, and it's a really, it's actually a really snug fit, I guess you'd call it. You can see here I've got my wiring. I just tucked it up in here. It's actually long enough that that it'll go all the way down, and when I'm ready to wire it in, I'll actually be able to get it all the way down in there. Got my lights here, and then you can see I've got two screws here that go in. There's a little bit of play in this. It's not bad. Be interesting to kind of see what it looks like when it's riding. I got all the screws in and everything done. Looks nice. It does look very nice. I'll kind of back up here. I don't know if you can kind of see it there, it is in and finished up. Looks nice from the back here, and it actually, like I said, took me much longer than I thought to actually get the liner to line up properly. If I have to take it out, it actually probably will come out really quick. But again, getting it back in fact, you can see right there how it's not quite poked under. But that's the only tough part. Other than that, everything's good, and that's it on the roof install. More to come.